This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 2014. Wealthy or rich? Which would you rather be? By Helene Massicotte of freetopursue.com. And I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. We're going to get right into today's post and continue optimizing your life. Wealthy or rich? Which would you rather be? By Helene Massicotte of freetopursue.com. During recent discussions about a book by Thomas J. Stanley called The Millionaire Next Door over on the Rockstar Forum, I was reminded of the true meaning of wealth. In Western society, we tend to equate being wealthy with being rich, but that's like comparing apples to oranges. What does being rich mean? Being rich means having gobs of money and showing the world we do. Rich people have a lot of flashy stuff, and many of them seem to never have enough. Enough money, homes, cars, jewelry, clothes, and any other status symbols they may desire. Some rich folks even end up in the poorhouse in their constant striving for this elusive state we call more, amassing tons of assets and tons of debt to support the accumulation of said assets. There's not much difference between living this way and living paycheck to paycheck. The Queen of Versailles documentary demonstrates this state of being. If we never feel we have enough, if we never feel we are enough, then it doesn't matter how much bling we wear or the poshness of our ride or the ostentatiousness of our lodging. We never get off the hamster wheel. We keep hoarding stuff, money, square footage, status, power, and attention. Having gobs of money does not equal wealth. What does being wealthy mean then? Wealth is a different animal. Being wealthy means you're not chasing more, though ironically, the wealthy tend to attract more in part because they're not in a desperate chase for it. Being wealthy also doesn't require achieving the outward status of rich. Being wealthy is a state of mind. It's a state we reach when we feel we have enough. What is enough? Enough security to not have money influence your decisions. And if your concept of enough is modest, you can achieve wealth quite early in life. The wealth equation is a simple one. Needs less than means equals wealthy. When our needs are comfortably addressed by our means, we believe we can live life on our terms. We feel self-sufficient. We feel we have options. We feel we can live life in line with our values and be our truest selves. We don't chase what doesn't matter to us. We pursue what we're passionate about, and we don't give a rat's behind what other people think. We're secure in our abilities, both to provide for ourselves and to live a good life, whatever that definition might be for us. There are many benefits to being wealthy. When we're truly wealthy, we have fewer preoccupations because fewer people have dominion over us. We have fewer obligations. Better relationships because we know they're worth investing in as opposed to stuff. Better health thanks to the lower level of bad stress that can cause so many issues, not to mention better quality sleep. An appetite for investing in ourselves and others through lifelong learning. Higher life satisfaction in part because we can pay attention to it and because we feel we're the ones steering the ship. And direction because we don't get stuck in the rut of the everyday hoping for a better tomorrow. We can think in the present and evaluate whether what we're doing is really what we want to or ought to be doing. If the answer is no, we know it's time to pivot. Wealthy people are generous because they know they have what they need. More generous in time, attention, money, and support. Wealthy people are also kinder and tend to get what they want with patience and without coercion because they lack the feeling of scarcity, which makes us focus on the self, on what we don't have. Wealthy people are happy to let others live their lives as they see fit, and they expect others to respect their choices as well. Live and let live is a great motto and an easier one to adhere to when you're living life on your terms and are in need of nothing more. Is it possible to be wealthy and rich? Yes, of course. It's possible to be wealthy and rich, but it often doesn't work the other way around. Having a lot of money doesn't mean you feel you have enough, but you can feel you have enough and have a lot of money. Warren Buffett is the traditional example when it comes to the wealthy rich. It's nothing more than a state of mind once the basics are addressed, and more money doesn't tend to change that state of mind. So what would you rather be, rich or wealthy? I'll take wealthy, hands down. There's a reason the saying more money, more problems resonates with a lot of us. When we focus on the greenbacks and what it can buy over time, we lose touch with what it is that really makes us happy. And that's not having to focus so much on accumulating more of them once we have enough. You just listened to the post titled, Wealthy or Rich? Which would you rather be? By Helene Massicotte of freetopursue.com. I loved the book, The Millionaire Next Door. It illustrates that most millionaires are not living in the lap of luxury like we may imagine. They live below their means, and they don't flaunt their wealth with material possessions. I agree with Helene that there is a distinct difference in being rich versus being wealthy, though most people use those words interchangeably. When I imagine a rich person, I think of someone with a high income that spends their money on stuff. When I imagine a wealthy person, in addition to the abundance mindset described in this article, I think of someone who uses whatever income they have to buy assets, not stuff. Assets are things like stocks, bonds, real estate, and businesses. Anything that can allow your money to make more money. Wealthy people recognize that money can be put to work, and that's going to provide more security and peace of mind in the long run. The more time I spend around people who have reached financial independence and have the kind of wealth where they can do whatever they want, the more I realize how immune they are to posturing with fancy looking stuff. Wealth doesn't look like luxury on the outside a lot of the time. It looks like money in the bank, and most millionaires in the US aren't flashy about it. You'd really never know by looking at them. Just take someone like Warren Buffett. The man's worth something like $84 billion, and yet he still lives in the same house he bought for $31,000 in 1958. Talk about living below your means. And that should do it for today. Have a happy rest of your day, and I'll see you on the Thursday show tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.